Welcome back to Legends Live. This is the second end of our doubleheader today, as you know, presented by the National Basketball Retired Players Association, the home of all our NBA and WNBA legends. I'd like to remind everybody watching, you can submit questions that we will try to get to before we wrap up. And without any further ado, I'd like to welcome in today's guest. We have former USC woman of Troy. She was an 8-time All-Star, 3-time MVP, 2-time champion with the Los Angeles Sparks, as well as a 4-time Olympic gold medalist. We have Lisa Leslie with us.
Woo! Do I clap for myself?
No, listen, we can clap. I clap for myself all the time. No, thank you for joining us. First things first, how are you?
Tyler, I am good. You know, my life has not slowed down, even though I am not on the court. I feel like every day I'm hustling like I'm still on the court. So, but it's all good. I have nothing to complain about. Just really blessed.
You prefer it that way, like staying busy even after the playing days? Like some people need that routine, need to keep going. Some people are just looking to take it easy. Which do you prefer?
To be honest, I'm wired in a way that I just play hard. I work hard and I play hard. I do both pretty aggressively.
Okay.
So, you know, I have like 5 jobs, you know, between broadcasting and being on We Need to Talk and coaching in the Big Three. I'm really looking forward to our season where we get a chance this season to get back together and defend our championship title. I also am a public speaker, so I have quite a few trips now back on the books. I've been doing a ton of Zooms. I'm also on Cameo. So, you know, I try to collect checks from all ways possible.
Hold that thought. We're gonna get to that. Hold that thought. I get one thing I didn't mention. Feel like I should have mentioned. You went to Morningside High School, correct?
Correct.
Now, who would you say who's the best basketball player to come out of Morningside?
Well, you mean got some competition period?
Or at Englewood period. Let's go. Let's go all of Englewood.
Me, I'm first. Then Paul Pierce is a close second. No, Byron Scott. It's a toss-up.
Okay, just those. I was gonna say you got Tina Thompson, Eldon Campbell. That's just from Morningside.
Well, Tina's not from Englewood. I guess she went to Morningside High, but she's not from Englewood. So
got you.
That's a little bit different. But she's amazing as well. So
okay, but the top 3. I wanted to see if you put yourself in the top slot. I always like when people.
Oh, from Englewood, I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
only way.
Now, the 30th anniversary recently passed of the 101-point half that you had in high school.
That's crazy. 30 years?
30 years.
I'm having an out-of-body experience.
I was going to say, what immediately comes to mind in that out-of-body experience? Like, what do you remember about that? When did you know it was like it's about to get ugly? Like, I'm feeling good.
You know, it's so interesting because, one, I don't feel like it's been 30 years. So that part is a little scary because it feels like not quite just yesterday, but pretty recent.
Right.
But 30 years is hard to really digest that it's been that long. But I think the thing I think about most is just I'm such a competitor. I love to compete. And I remember the pressure I felt because, see, I had moved to Englewood, and in Englewood at Morningside High, they had this ritual that every senior tries to score as many points as possible in the last home game. And we would just rebound the ball and keep throwing it to the same player. Just, I don't know why they had this tradition. So
you didn't start the tradition.
Yeah, no, I didn't start it. I'm just like, DJ, keep the party rolling. So, you know, my freshman year, we get the ball to one of the seniors and she had like 55 points. Another, I think my sophomore year or junior year, the senior had 60 points. So I remember that I was supposed to just score more than 60 points. So I'm like, I was just locked in. I had no idea the score. And even when I looked up at the clock and it was like 101, and I'm like, what's wrong with the scoreboard? Like I didn't, you know, I'd never seen that number that way. So I was like,
I don't think they had either. Yeah.
Oh, 1, you know, what is that? Yeah, pretty much that was all the buckets I had. So it was really, it was cool that I beat the record. Probably not so cool that we beat up on South Torrance. Never really processed that young about what it would feel like for the other young ladies. Now that I'm obviously...
You didn't have to say their name of the school. You didn't have to put them out there like that.
Oh, yeah, I did, because it was South Torrance. And, well, they all know that. But, you know, since then, I've gone on to do bigger and better things. So at least I'm consistent.
No, is that a record? Like, would you like to see somebody at Morningside break that? Like somebody gets 105, somebody gets 120 and a half. Or you like, no, I kind of want my record to ride. You can be honest.
I'm always about, when I set records, and I've set quite a few records, that I think it's important for records to be broken. Like, I'm not like a person who's like, don't touch my record, leave it up at the top.
Right.
Like, I'm not really full of myself in that way. I love the fact that I've been able to play. I gave basketball my all. I was like married to the game, I was up early, 5:30, 6 in the morning at the gym, doing 2-a-days. Like, I really love playing basketball and competing. I love working out. I still love working out. So I did all that I really could do. And in some ways, I'm envious of these young people who have access to like social media and internet, where you get to see people, where you can like slow it down and like,
right.
man, my
Run it
game
on
is
loop
sick in this day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all the information and access that they have, that's probably the only thing I wish, I would have had more access to. I mean, to catch a women's game on television back then was, I mean, that's almost like the Christmas special. Like, you saw it once a year,
if that.
Yeah. So, that part of it is kind of cool. But for me, I think all records should be broken at some point.
Now, you mentioned like the media. You got to take you didn't mention like the bad side of like all the comments and people replies and all that. That's like, you'd have to deal with both sides, right? Like, you could see.
I don't know. I'm not a person who really focuses on the negative. So for me, I feel like there's, for every good thing, somebody might be like, okay, girl, I see you, your hair look cute. And then somebody else is like, oh, I'm so tired of your ponytail. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm not really a person who's like going through and trying to search through. I barely read the comments on my pages. I've always had like 98% of really positive feedback from, over my whole career. So I haven't really been in any situations where I'm being like drugged and really feeling some kind of way. But even then, social media is, in some ways, it's so empowering. It's so great what we've been able to do from a social aspect of raising awareness about, injustices. I love it. Like, I love being a part of that and fighting for, Black people and bringing awareness to just to the world, really. Like, I love being a part of that. And I love social media for that. The flip side of it is, I feel like social media is amazingly, it can be very negative. It can be very tough for people's mental psyche to see things that are not really real. Like, people, it's a front, and there's a lot of things that are not real that's on there, and relationships that are not real. And, a lot of those things that I think it makes people and young people feel envious of, when you don't really have access the way that some people do.
Right.
So in that way, I think, social media is tough. It can be tough, especially for all those young people out there who haven't quite made it yet, who are trying to figure it out. And sometimes social media makes them want it now. And they don't see the hard work. I mean, dude, it's so much hard work out here.
The long nights, the early mornings.
Yes.
Now, as Coach Lisa, as Mom Lisa, is that something like you talk about social media, like with your players, with your kids, or you kind of just let them, experience it their own way?
Oh, no, I am a helicopter mom. I'm definitely guarding and parenting my children. My kids, my son has an Instagram page only run by me because he was a kid commentator for the Big Three, which was really cool. So I don't even post on there. He has no access to that at all. I let my kids TikTok for a little while, and
just a little bit.
Just a little bit. In fact, that's how I got into the pandemic. Is really what helped me to even look and go, okay, let me sit down with my kids. What are you guys into? What do you guys want to do? And I started making little TikTok videos with them. I became a TikTok mom. Then I kind of took it over once I realized you can monetize it. I'm like, oh, hold on.
Well, yeah. Another check. Yeah.
Let me pick up another check. So, but I think as I got on there and I really realized, okay, this is not all quite for kids either. So I use it as a tool that, okay, you're not doing something. Yep, TikTok's gone. I think you got to let kids be kind of in and out. They have to know what's going on, but not too much.
They don't have to be engrossed in it. Like, it's all that's going on.
No, because to see with my son, he lost his little advantage of having TikTok, and now he's dribbling all over the house. And I'm like, it's perfect. You can, dribble in it.
You go.
There you go.
2 birds, 1 stone.
There you go.
Now, I'd like to go back with our legends a little bit, because like you went to USC,
Mm-hmm.
you set, like you said, set many records, broke records. But I'm interested in, after your college career ended in 1994, the WNBA didn't start to, first year wasn't until 1997. So what was that in between period like for you?
It was fun. Let's see. So 1994, I graduated from SC. I signed my first Nike contract. So immediately, like the day after my season was over, I got a chance to become, a pro athlete and sign a contract. I also worked for ESPN, and I went overseas and played in Italy. Half a season. So that was pretty a lot of fun. I also signed my first modeling contract with Wilhelmina in New York. So that was super cool too. And then I was part-time in New York and then back in LA. So I was on the move. Again, I told you my life.
You're moving a shaker, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, let's get it, whatever, opportunity, preparation and opportunity equals success. I'm a big advocate of that. And I feel like we could rest one day, but not today. And when you're young and you have the opportunities, you have to take advantage of that. And for me, I don't know. I just feel like when we are educated and we get these opportunities, or we create opportunities for ourselves, we have to take full advantage of that. But we also have to be prepared. We have to come in, very competent about what we do. You have to be a hard worker. I'm very optimistic. I'm a person of integrity. I truly do love people, and I love treating people in ways that they should be treated, whether it's the janitor in the building or the president. I'm not going to treat those two people differently. I'm going to speak to them. I may, interact, ask how their kids are doing, because those are God's children. And so my gift really on this planet is my spiritual gift. My spiritual gift is my ability to speak. And so there's moments when I connect with people. Basketball just happened to be that platform that God gave me to be on.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the moments and the interactions, it's a blessing and an opportunity. And so I just feel like in the space that I'm in, wherever that space is, that's the space I'm supposed to be in. And God has me there for a reason, to connect or just be a blessing or be a role model or to inspire somebody. And so that's really how I move through life. And with that, I feel like I make no mistakes. I'm never in the wrong place.
That's a very good way to answer that. Yeah, never in the wrong place. That's you got to teach more people how to do that. I feel like people are generally bad at being in the places they're supposed to be. Well, that as well. As well.
It's definitely a mindset, and I'm a firm believer of affirmations, and what we put out in the universe is real. And so whatever you manifest, right? It's like beauty comes from within. And whatever we are feeding ourselves, whether it's good or bad, positive or negative, whatever music we're listening, whatever we're feeding our souls, we also exude that, right? And so it's just a mindset. You got to have a certain mindset, and we got to keep evolving together and educating one another to get to that place,
Is that like a way you've always, like even as a kid, you had that mindset? Is that something you think grew and developed as you become a player, as you achieve more success? Like where does that come in?
Honestly, it comes from my mom. My mom started my sisters and I really on a path of understanding the powers of our word and us manifesting, life and whatever we say it is. So my mom is like extremely positive. Like you can't even go like, oh my God, I was dying laughing. My mom be like, you were not about to die. Right. Like she'd be like on one, like, Mom, it's just like a saying, but okay. But I think she started us so young, I'm that way with my children. And, the other thing is just, we have to have a higher power. Like it can't just be about us.
Right.
I mean, because then, life can be really hard if it's just about you and you have no other source of power. So I believe in that. I believe in the Lord. I believe in his power. I believe in his word. And I feel like his word I believe it, and he promised me, and I'm blessed, and I have the ability to share my blessings, and I receive my spiritual gift, and I use my spiritual gift, and it's like, to me, it's just a matter of that, like opening up to really be used, be a vessel, and again, it's probably deeper than the average bear. I'm not trying to be deep, but it's just you
That's your
asked me to
life,
come
yeah.
here, so this is who I am.
Yeah. The thing I wanted to ask you about as far as the checks, I wanted to confirm if this is true. So in 1997, when you were starting out with the Sparks, you hired Shaquille O'Neal's agent, and you told him bring you any of the deals that he turns down. Is that true?
100% true.
Can you
Yeah,
tell
why
me
wouldn't
about like just always having that business savvy, that mindset?
Listen, Shaq is I mean, he's a mogul, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even back then, he has that it factor, right? But the problem is on the women's side is I got the same it factor, but it's like, hey, over here, it's very hard for us to, as a Black woman, it's very, we all see it now, but I mean, it's difficult to get those types of companies to invest in you and to really, not try to give you these one-offs, or it's like, you're going to pay Shaq, let me just throw out a number that's probably not true, but 500,000, and you're going to pay me 5,000. It's like the equivalent of your value is already devalued. But I have no problem saying, hey, listen, to Leonard Armato was our shared agent, as well as Bruce Binko. Shout out to both of those men because I love them dearly. Very good people. And, the thing is that whatever Shaquille doesn't want to do, I will do. I don't care what he say no to, send me, and hey, this is new now, let's eat. But that's how I'm gonna eat. And it paid off for me in dividends, literally, from American Express to Pepsi, Sears, just doing different deals and being available, being in the room, being a spokesperson on behalf of the WNBA, having a seat at the table through plenty of negotiations. That back then nobody was keeping record and score, and now you got social media to be like, oh, so and so is doing this, doing that. I was the first player who was actually an owner in the WNBA for the LA Sparks. But again, it's all good. It's not that I need any recognition, but I'm saying this hustle is like, this is not new for me. This is how this is, and it's not like hustle like I hustle people. It's probably not even the right word, because hustle kind of sounds like you kind of like scheming, and it's not a scheme at all. It's really about the
like grinding,
the code word now is networking, right? Yeah. Okay, so before that was something, I didn't know I was networking, and I just
it just came natural to you.
Yeah, it's like, hey, who's in the room? What are we doing? What are we trying to get? We're trying to get these. We're trying to get sponsors for the WNBA. We're trying to get television rights. So what can I do? How can I help? That was my move. And then I think the last part I would just add to that is the importance of understanding that we are a product. Like the WNBA players are the product. And to me, I think sometimes that value is not always kept to the top in terms of how we present ourselves, how we look, how we act. That's also just as important. And sometimes I feel like now with social media, these young players have really taken that to another level. And I love that. I love that shift has really happened, where they're understanding you have an opportunity, you have an audience, speak to them. If you're going to dance, if you're going to TikTok, whatever, keep it cute, whatever you're going to do. And I love to see that, or if you're not trying to be cute, I don't mean literally, now you can't be like,
right. Well, that's the option. I feel like it's what you're saying. You want them to have the option to where like they understand that they're a brand unto themselves, and how you treat that brand is going to come back to you in some checks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, tomorrow's 25 years of the WNBA. What do you remember about year one?
Oh my gosh. 25 years. That's amazing. So year one was a little crazy for me personally, because I told you I'd signed a modeling contract. So I was in New York. I had not played basketball since the day I walked off the court from the Olympics in 96. So when they said they were going to start the WNBA, and I was like, oh yeah, sign me up. I thought it was going to be like a summer league, a summer league, reversible jerseys. I don't know.
Drew was like, nah, we thinking something a little bit bigger.
Yeah. So in my head, I kind of had like Drew League kind of thing. I had played in summer leagues we had in LA before. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. I'll come back. I'll jump in. When I got back to LA and we were at the Forum, and I'm like, hold up, are we actually playing in this?
Like, this is us?
Like, my locker is Kareem's locker. What are we doing here? So I wasn't ready. That's the basic. That's the truth.
That's honesty, though.
That's the truth. I was not prepared, and I wasn't prepared. Yeah. I mean, throughout 96, we lift weights every day. We trained every day. We played ball every day. Everything that we eat. I mean, we were machines. And to go into modeling, I'm like, I was already small. Then you really can't have nobody fat on you.
Nothing. Yeah.
So I came back. Probably I was super light in the paint.
So they was just moving you up out of there. You had to get used to that.
Oh man. I mean, I still was part of the top group, but I wasn't like on top of my game the way I should have been.
How long do you think that took you to where it's like, okay, like I'm focused on this. I'm handling the things I need to do that allow me, to succeed at this?
I really think 2 years. I think 2 years because, and I mean, I ended up winning. Let's see, we started in 97. I won MVP at the All-Star game in 99. I believe that was our first All-Star game. So I'm thinking, and I really feel like 2 seasons. And the reason why I say that, this was the first time that you're playing basketball in the summer. So the training really needed to be all off season, which was normally basketball season.
Right.
So it was just it was a trip to train year round, right? To be prepared for a season in the summer. I mean, we had never done that our whole life, unless you're just playing AAU ball, right? But high school, college, you usually have October where you start running on the track. You know what I'm saying? You can't go to the gym till November 15. You followed all those rules. And for it to reverse on us, for me, and I wasn't really big on overseas every year because, again, I had so many. You
were busy
going on. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was making pretty much what a lot of players were making overseas, doing 3 and 4 different jobs with all the different opportunities I had. So that was another reason why I wasn't overseas playing like year round, like most of the ladies.
Right. So what would you tell like somebody that's about to start their career tomorrow? Somebody's about to start year 25 of the W, but it's year 1 for them. What advice would you give them?
As far as basketball goes, I would say stay in the gym every single day. And when I say gym, I mean in the weight room, because the weight room and taking care of your body is essential to your career. I was able to play basketball for 25 years because I was very much a maintenance person. Like I didn't wait till I got hurt. I did ice baths, all the horror stories you hear about the ice baths.
The preemptive stuff.
Yeah, I did all of that. I went to physical therapy 2 and 3 times a week, especially in the off season. I trained as if I had ACL tears. Like I worked out, like doing the things that injured people do. Because I used to ask, now, why do you guys wait until a person's, super hurt and then you put them on?
Then you put them on the fast track. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you got to do like leg extensions. 50 of those. You got to do step ups. So I just had my trainer. I want to train like I'm rehabbing. And so by doing that way normally.
You just train that way normally. That was just your
that's my training thing. So I was like, I'm in the gym every day. I'm in the weight room. So I would tell a young person to get in the weight room every day, get your shots up every day, be a sponge, find you a veteran that a smart veteran that understands the game. And be a great listener, always be at the gym early, leave late, and be a sponge to grasp all the information you can. The second thing or third thing, whatever one I'm on, I would say to watch a ton of video. I'm a firm believer of watching videos in basketball and how you can get better.
Like of others or of your own work or all the above?
All of it. You got to watch your favorite players and what moves you're trying to work on. Pick 3 moves that you're really working on for the first half of the season and stick with those 3 moves so you have your go-to move. You got to be able to do it on the left side and the right side, but you only need 3. sometimes people have so much in their head that they can't really focus.
Like too many options.
And it's so they have so many options, but then none of it works because it was
too
like
many,
you already planned out what you were going to do,
Right.
So I say just pick 3 moves, offensive moves that you really are your go-to moves that you can do on both sides of the court or anywhere on the court. And the last thing I would say is, get a little R&R. A lot of times people they want to find balance. And the key in the WNBA is you don't get to get a lot of balance because you have so many games in a week, and there's so much travel.
Right.
It's very tough to find balance. So you're going to miss out on the parties. You're going to miss out on the barbecues. You should be missing out on those.
I was going to say, you probably could make them, but it probably wouldn't put you in your best self for your sport.
It's about sacrifice. I made a lot of sacrifices. It really is.
Yeah. Now in your, I guess, not even next chapter, it feels like it's all just been one long chapter. Like you've always been busy.
Yes.
Like you mentioned you're doing like the analyst work, part owner, some coaching, acting, got your MBA, all that. What was which one was the toughest of those? What was the toughest adjustment for you?
I think the toughest adjustment is probably just motherhood in general. I think being a mom is probably the hardest job ever. And I say that because I'm a real mom that's into my kids. I don't have a bunch of nannies and people driving them around. As you can see, I was running, trying to get here. It's tough, but every day, is a blessing because I reset with my children. No matter what happened yesterday, I reset with them every morning. I hug them every morning. I give them love every morning, and we start afresh and anew. And I think that, it's just challenging because there's things that come up, things that you have to fuss about. It's the same things over and over. Like a coach, you have to repeat.
Right.
But then it's just so much love and progress that, you see yourself, and my husband, we see ourselves in our children, and that part is super beautiful. But it's tough. And, sometimes you can't wait for bedtime.
Right.
Like, y'all, it is time to go to bed because my nerves,
like right now. Yeah.
I either worked all my nerves, but I love it. I love it. But the hardest part, let me just say this, the hardest part about being married and having children is this one question that the pandemic almost took me out.
Uh-oh.
What are we eating? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So how do y'all handle that? How do y'all navigate through that?
I mean, I cook a lot. I'm tired. Like I am about to retire from cooking. That's how tired I am. I can't think of anything else. I can't do any more recipes. I can't prep. I didn't prep food. When I got to throw out food, I'm telling you, I'm like a real mama fitness. When I'm putting stuff down the dishwasher, the garbage disposal, after I didn't prepped it on Sunday and took my time, like I'm done. So
you gotta get your kids they're old enough to start doing some chef work.
No, I know, but see, they play their sports, and so with sport, sports is the only thing to give you a pass around the house. They still wash dishes, but they don't clean up none of it. They don't, they got help with the clothes. This is some old new school stuff happening around here, man.
Gen Z, man. Yeah,
it's crazy.
So, got a couple questions here in a lounge. We won't keep you too much longer. One question says, what is your favorite part of Hall of Fame weekend when you were inducted and now when you go back?
Oh, when I was inducted, wow, there was so much going on. I think really just hanging around the other legends. What can you say? I didn't realize they were all going to come back. Like everybody was there. I remember seeing like Pat Riley and Michael. I mean, it was so many people. And
you were 2015 class of 20. You were class of 2015?
Yeah, 2015. My class. Who else was in my class?
I was like, who was in your class?
You're supposed to name them all.
I was just confirming it was 2015.
Yeah, 2015. Who all was in my class though?
You don't remember either.
Hey, come on, you're supposed to help me out. Calipari. His name is not Coach K. Okay. I always mess that up.
No, I don't know if you can see that behind. Yeah, no, please don't get those two.
Yeah, that's not right. Calipari. Who else? My friend. What's the big guy? Oh, Dikembe. Was Dikembe Mutombo? I think Mutombo.
Okay.
There were so many of us. It's hard to. Oh, hey, what's his name? Hayward.
Spencer Haywood.
Spencer Hayward. Yeah, I love him and his wife. They're so amazing. So, it was just so many people. It's hard for me to tell. But anyways, it was great. I enjoyed it. I think getting our blazer was super cool. And I think my speech, having all the other women up on stage, I probably have broken a record with how many women I had on stage. But, my title of my speech was that I didn't get here alone. So I really wanted to honor so many of the legend women who had really been a blessing to me before that were already Hall of Famers. So I had up there Dawn Staley, Katrina McLean, and Teresa Witherspoon. With Teresa Edwards, and I had James Worthy as well. Yeah, so it was awesome.
Okay, so what do you like about going back now? Because as we know, we got the classes about to be inducted this weekend up there. So what do you like about going back or getting back?
I think this time I'm going because, they're honoring Kobe, of course. And I mean, I think it's just part of the full circle of what he's done in his legacy. And I mean, he would have loved to have obviously been here to receive his blazer and his ring. And I know Vanessa will be there and she'll speak. But I'm going really because I would have been there if Kobe would have been there. And so it's going to be tough, but I gotta go. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple other questions.
Purple and gold.
Oh yeah. LA all day. We got a question from Cameron here. It says, will there be Uncle Drew 2?
I know, right? Kyrie, no, I was kidding.
I have to say, hey, we can set it up.
I know. They talked about it. They also talked about Preacher and Betty Lou kind of doing a little spinoff thing, but then the pandemic happened, so I'm not quite sure if we will get to see an Uncle Drew 2. That would be so cool, though.
It would be. I mean, once things open up, maybe we'll put a pin in it.
Yeah.
We'll put a pin in it. Let's see. Got a question here. Another one from the lounge said, who's the best celebrity sitting courtside in those early Sparks years?
Oh, man, we had some great celebrity. I probably would say Tyra Banks, LL Cool J, who I love, LL Cool J. What's his name? Who was he was a boxer that had all the gold. Not before Tyson. His bald head. The one. Oh, Tyson bit his ear. What's his name?
Oh, Evander Holyfield.
Evander Holyfield. Sorry, I don't know. I'll be blanking. After you have kids, you can't remember everything.
I understand.
Yeah, those are Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, we've had some really good fans come out, especially our first inaugural season, actually.
Okay, yeah. Evander, when you said the boxer with the gold, I was like, that could be like any of them.
You remember Holyfield? He had gold like in his house. Yeah.
That house in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Holyfield house. I think Rick Ross has it now. But that's neither here nor there. We got one more question I'd like to ask all our legends. Then we'll let you go. We're getting together our playlist, season 2 of our Legends playlist. So what do you listen when you're ripping and running to get the kids or going to and from the bank, cashing those checks? Like what's in your headphones? What's in your speakers? What do you listen to?
On my phone, by the way, but
I beg your pardon, but ain't no music playing, ain't no song playing.
Okay, so my music is so I listen to a lot of gospel music.
Okay.
So I have like Wild 2019, I think.
Okay.
So I listen to that, and I also listen to Meg Thee Stallion or Nipsey Hussle. It just depends on like when I'm in the gym working out. Sometimes you got to be like body, yada, yada, yada. I got to
you can't gospel it up necessarily in the gym.
all the time, right? So I mix it up because I have no problem of like sometimes I need that pump it up or I go back like music make you lose control with Missy Elliott.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like just
get your shoulders moving. Yeah.
So it depends on like what workout I'm doing. I need. Depending on what kind of music I'm listening to.
Gotcha. Okay, we might throw some gospel in there. We might also throw some Meg Thee Stallion just to to show both sides.
Those tall girls got to stick together. We got We got legs, so we got to keep it.
We'll get that together for you. Lisa Leslie, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. Sorry it took so long to get together, but hopefully
not a problem. We enjoyed it. We hope everybody enjoyed it. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. God bless. Bye.
Thanks, Lisa. All right, and that'll do it for our doubleheader of Legends Live today. As you know, we got new episodes. We'll be back to regular scheduled live every Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central. Catch us on the NBA Alumni Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch page. I'd like to remind viewers you can watch replays of any episode at legendsofbasketball.com/legendslive. And you can catch the audio replay to our conversations by searching for Legends Live wherever you get your podcasts. I'd like to give a big thank you to Lisa for joining us today. A thank you to Bridget, Julio, and Aaron behind the scenes. Thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you next Thursday.